My best therapy is free, my best therapy is shower wrap around the lads. No matter what the weather, day before or day after, on the walk, it's been like this, it's been lush. My name's Earl John Charlton. I was born in South Shields and I was made on the streets. 19 years heroin and crack cocaine addict, 20 years an alcoholic and methadone user, which I am now, coming to 7 years clean, so I'm very, yeah, it's a milestone for me. It hits hard when you can't provide.
As far as I'm concerned with Earl's one of the boys. Rather than some guy coming to you with a suit and tie and 3 or 4 different letters after his name, somebody like Earl, you're able to speak to a lot better. These are the guys here you want to be talking to, the men there's futures at stake.
I've minus in my bank, so that's affected on my mental health because I've had no money. It's nice to have people that actually care about the North East.
When I was on the street, best night's sleep was in the graveyard, no one's disturbing you, telling you. I had loads of company, but none that woke us up. I was never alone.
So when you walk on the wagon ways
that just go from,
is the old roads through the mines. We often talk about history and talk about what went on around here, our past and our, and I think it opens people up. It certainly opens men up in terms of talking to each other, and then you move on to all sorts of different topics.
It's not only the mining, it's the fishing industry, it's the docks, the Wall's End, the shipyards, you know, because all our families, you know, they would have been there at some point or other, you know. So obviously there was a lot of poverty in the 80s.
And have you struggled with your mental health?
Oh yeah, well I've always had anxiety issues and that, and I deal with them through my art. I mean, I'm a mosaic artist. I just decided to take a leap of faith last year when I got made redundant, you know. For me personally, it was like the rise of Sam Fender and the Newcastle United just happened all at the same time, and the inspiration I got from that was just unbelievable, you know, and it gives you that sense of worth again, you know. Because, I mean, for so many years, if you say you're from North Shields, you know, they'd just be like, oh, leave him well alone then. You know, he's a wrong one, but it's changing, you know what I mean? Obviously, the poverty, you know, I've had a lot of my friends fall by the wayside, they've killed themselves, half of them are still in jail. It's not brought to the forefront, is it, like the male side of things, you know? And that's obviously why these are important and what Earl's trying to do.
You're gorgeous, yes you are. Can I ask you to do any community project here as well?
No.
So I do the men's walk and talk groups and stuff like that. I was thinking, is there anything you ever want us to do on a Tuesday or something we can come along and spend an hour with yous? Bit of grooming. I mean, because the best therapy in the world are animals.
Yeah.
My name's Earl, by the way.
Judith.
Lovely to meet you, Judith. Do a bit of carrot feeding. It's all a bit of talk. That's what I'm a dog. I talk to anyone, mate. But that's where it's come from. That's where it's come from. Yeah.
Most of the time my mental health's alright, but my dad, like, he's had his struggles with mental health in the past. Like he had really bad depression when we were growing up. So I know what it's like for people to bottle things up and see the effects of it. So coming here and just having a chat and a blether, as we'd say in Scotland, about anything. It doesn't have to be deep. If it is deep, it's fine. But just meeting folk like Earl and everyone around this kind of community has really ignited my sort of faith in folk again.
Thank you, Ewan. Is that a good workout for you this morning, lad? Yeah? Look, I'm pick your cuppa up now. So now it's cheap breakfast, full English, $2.50. As many cuppas as you want for £1.
I mean, I don't know what this magic is you have, Earl, but before you know it, these guys have permission almost, seeing you, a big burly bloke, successful bloke, to know, well, it's okay. Every man feels what I feel. Every man gets a bit scared. Every man's struggling.
The kids call him Grandad.
He loves it.
Say uncle, man. Uncle.
He's a cool uncle. He's not a granddad.
We're doing a live sing-along, attention all.
It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean
I think Earl's just a testament of doesn't matter how bad things get, you can always get yourself out of them. Like the last sort of 12 years of austerity and, you know, people really being sort of dragged down to the bones. You've got to take heart in the fact that people are doing something about it. You can't wait for a change of government to bring about that change. I think it has always been this sort of tough working class thing of, you know, you don't talk about your feelings, you know, you get on with it. And I think for a long time, you know, when there was industry, you know, a bloke could go to work hard, go out in the evening, play hard, and that was it, you know.
But now there's people that have got nothing coming out of what they're grafting for, and then they've got this family struggling. That plays on a person's head and men's head. And when the lads think, oh, I can't talk about the thing because they're going to get judged for being less of a man, you're actually braver than any other man because you're coming forward and you're sharing it. We're going down to North Shields, the fish quay, where the industry was an industry back in the day. I remember when I was younger, Lee, man, it used to go down, I think it was a Sunday, they had the fish market on.
Right.
You had all the tables and everything. I mean, Nana used to come over from South Shields with us and get me granddad's fish and that.
This area we're coming through now is the Meadowell, which in the 90s, early 90s had massive riots.
The Meadowell riots.
Them riots actually got some things done because they actually ended up investing a lot more money in the area.
From the air, the neat rows of 1930s houses that make up the Meadowell estate are now pitted with the burnt-out remains of a night's arson and looting. One of the poorest and most deprived inner-city estates in Britain, where unemployment touches 40%.
So this is Jerry. Jerry's a big part of the North Shields fishing community. Fisherman, trawlerman. Yeah? The past.
Take a look around the harbour here now at the moment. From a once bustling harbour, full of boats, full of fish and a lot of people working. So you can see what's happening here now.
The North East has got the biggest percentage of male suicide through lack of work and basically male pride in that. What do you find? Do you find that a lot in the fishing industry?
When people are used working, their mind's occupied. All of a sudden your job's gone. That's a hard thing to handle.
And there's no support there.
Where's the support? Who do you talk to? Unless you're strong enough to rise above that yourself.
Yeah.
And sadly, people are finding it easier to die than they are to live. It's hard to live now.
It's sad, that.
That's a sad fact of life. These are the guys here you want to be talking to, the men, there's futures at stake.
It's nice to have people that actually care about the North Eastern fishing. Quite agree with what you said there. Idle hands make works for the devil kind of thing. So there's a lot of mental health in the fishing industry and in the North East in general because there's no work. Well, especially for young people coming out of school, there's no industry. It's almost poverty stricken, isn't it? Look at it. Like, there's not a lot going. Unless you want to work in a restaurant on minimum wage. There's not a lot going. It's just the same in Whitby where I'm from. Apart from the tourist industry, there's nothing. So unless you want to survive on minimum wage, which you can't.
I'm one of the people that can say I'm glad that I am the age that I am. I've seen the good times, you know, but the pressures that people are under now at the moment.
And I've been able to provide for my daughter for the last 2 months, and that has really, really got me down. That there was one point where I turned heavily to drinking drugs through it all. That was just to try and cope with it all, but I managed to sort myself out now and get back on the straight and narrow. But that's thanks to my girlfriend that I'm with now, really. But there's a lot of lads that turn to drinking drugs, and fortunately some of them don't manage to get to the other end, and it ends up getting hold of them, and some of them are no longer here. Like, I've lost quite a few friends to drinking drugs through not being able to find work and that, and it's not nice. But the government doesn't seem to care because they don't offer you the help or anything like that. Like, I rang up trying to get help with my mental health, and I just kept on getting passed from pillar to post.
Just the Medalia there, the red one here. But no, we'll be away now. There's nothing to catch here till end of year now.
That's the bench here. That's where I first left. Yeah, but this is it, man. That place there says the marketplace. When I went in there and I turned around and said, I need to apply for housing. I'm South Shields born and bred. And I started telling her about my history, and I told her I was a former addict and I'm trying to get clean. She went, we don't give a place like, to people like you. Exact words. That just nearly made me drop my knees, and I walked out and I never engaged with the council again. But she wouldn't say that now if I walked in. You know what I mean? So I was one of those that fell through the cracks of the system. But yeah, that's my high street, King Street. And you can see, it's shut as. All shops are closing. I think it's only like the charity-based things that are really staying open. I don't think any party can come in and change anything. We're the ones that are giving food parcels away and have mums come to us crying because they can't put food on the kids' tables. I bet their kids didn't go out to the meal day, but there's 170,000 kids that woke up this morning in the North East that did. I bet they can't come out here and survive like we can.
Hey, how exciting is it?
I think we can get 3 chairs to a table when you get more chairs out. How are you, all right? Running order is...
Well, I want to see you thank you for helping me, you know.
Anytime, brother. You all right, kid? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We all settling? My name is Earl John Charlton. I was born in South Shields. I was made on the streets. In November, December, I was in a very dark place, and Louise, Janine picked us up, basically surrounded me and made sure I was going to be okay, which I am. Here we go. Right, hey. This one's called They Knew, and the reason it's called They Knew is because I was in the streets of London, in the city of London, and yes, I had an addiction. My friends and my brothers and sisters around me had an addiction, and we had our fix. And we went and sat back down, and next thing you know, look, my friend, his lips start going blue. And basically, yeah, he was dying in my arms, and the public were walking by, and the choose to ignore us. And I tell you what, I might have been invisible then, but I'm not now. I lived a life of pain and fear. Now I'm in therapy to make things clear. Not to understand my past, but to face the fears of those faces I've seen that have died in my tears. That's someone's daughter, that's someone's son. How dare you walk on by that could be one of your own. I hope one day that is not one of your own.